Hi there. Movie number 4. This is the baseball graph movie, as you can see on the screen. And the baseball graph movie uses a pre-made piece of artwork. Pretend this is clip art, even though I made the artwork and I made the baseball diamond, and they're both Illustrator files, and you have the file in your asset folder. You could make your own if you wanted to. Doesn't matter to me. But this is something that supposedly suppose you were given a piece of artwork and you wanted to incorporate it into your graph to just have a nice fluid contemporary design. So let's just start right in on it. So I'll go along with what this one says. Let me put it back up on my little thing here, and let's just minimize this and start. Now I'm going to start right over here, but I'm going to show you that I already have it finished right there, and the baseball graph is rather nicely done. Now I have turned off the guides so that you don't have to see the guides on the bottom here. So I'll show the guides, and you can see where the guides are as I'm circling right there. Hopefully I'm now keeping these things bigger on screen. So keep on going there. Wow. And let me hide the guides there. Now I'll show the guide in a little bit, but that's what it's going to look like. And now you have every right to click on it with the direct select tool, make the text any font, any size. But let's just get started on this in this one right over here. And let's click on this one and hit Command 0, click on page 4, because that's where it belongs, on page 4. And I've already made a layer. If you see my layer palette right over there, there's a nice layer called Baseball Graph. Oh my God, I put a space in it. Oh, I can't believe that. I can't breathe. Okay, I'm fine now. And now let's go with resetting the graph tool. Okay, so let's go double click the graph tool. Make sure that this one says on left side on graph options, let's go to value axis. We uncheck override and everything is fine. And then we go to category axis and everything is fine. Make sure double check 0. The check mark is supposed to be there. No check mark is anywhere, right, correct, okay, and everything is fine. There's no dollars in there, and 0 on the draw, tick marks per division. And the last one is back on here, and it's only first column in front and what is referred to as a column graph. Oh, look at my cluster. It's 180. And you know what? I blew it on the last graph. It shouldn't have been 180. It should have been 90 and 80, and that's why it was too wide. It just means you can go in later and make it 90 and 80 or 70 and 80. And all that means is between the tick marks, you're occupying 100% of the space, 90% of the space, 80% of the space between the tick marks of the graph. So really what that means is if you go to another graph, you can see that between these tick marks that your bar graph, before you applied the artwork to it, took up 90, 100, 70, 80% of that space. But let's go ahead and do what it says. Select the graph tool, click over there. Let's put this in 4 and 4, not 7 and 5. Click OK. And then just if you don't mind, in front of you, I'm just going to go ahead and input all the numbers. The delete key. This one is just, and let's move this over so we can already have this wide here, right there, so we can just have enough room for World Series wins. Okay, and make sure I've got it spelled right, yes. And let's go down, and then 5, 8, 11, 13, and 18. That didn't take too long. And then let's put for those damn Yanks on the bottom. And then usually right behind the Yanks is the Red Sox. Tried to make this as accurate as possible. I put the Tigers in the middle. That was wishful thinking. Let's put the Twins because they're our nemesis right there. And then let's put those darn Royals, since they always end up in last place anyway. Sorry if you're from Kansas City, I didn't mean that. Now let's go ahead and hit the check mark, and now we have our graph the way it is. At this point you should save the file, okay? And that one should line up to or look similar to the one on number 2 on page 10. Now it wants me to Make the tick marks, select the graph, double click the graph tool again, and then on this one it says go to graph type, change the graph options to value axis, and on value axis check tick marks to full width. So actually I left that. Oh, you know what, I should have put that as none. I'm such a silly man. You know, when I reset the stuff, I didn't do that. I just naturally did it now. It doesn't mean you can't go back and do it. It just means you better realize that you have to go back and do it. So the tick marks are to full width. Change tick marks to full length to full width. You know what? It was supposed to, your picture had it like this. So your picture had it to short. There was your picture, nice and short, as you can see. So let me just go back to type. Let's go to value axis, and let's go to full width. Okay, fine. Now switch to page 11, and now we have it as full width. Then it says open the Illustrator file. Now let's put this thing in the middle of the page, for goodness sake. So let's hit the V key and put it in the middle of the page. And then Brian, don't stay so far away from it there. And now let's go open the Illustrator file. So this wants you to actually go into the asset folder and open the Illustrator file that is marked baseball graph. So if I click up here, I believe I just opened that just a second ago. Okay, let's go over here and go baseball, art and baseball graph. Okay, there we go. And let's open it. Now, I want you to remember that paste remembers layers has to be on the file you're pasting to, although it'll be on both if it's on at all. So it wants me to click on the circle for the baseball art. And I'm going to, as I'm reading here, okay, click on, there are two layers. Click on the circle for the bat art layer, sorry. Edit copy. Okay, fine. Now let's click over to my tutorial movie. Let's put it here so we can put it up above there and click on the baseball graph. And then I'm going to want paste remembers layers to actually go in there. So you click on the layer palette, make sure, see as I'm checking there, paste remembers layers is selected, Command V to paste, and then it pastes right in, and I'll drop it into the baseball graph one as the bat art. Let's hit the E key, Mr. Sorial, and pick this up and put it up here. And now I don't like black as being that line, that because we can't see the artwork selection there. Okay, now I have it all selected. Now click on the radial button for the bat art layer, go to Object Graph Design. Great. So now let's click on the whole thing. Now what is that actually? And you're welcome to look at it. It's just a series of shapes that I've turned into a baseball bat. So it's basically a blend shape as I'm turning it off on the top, just a simple two-color blend shape as you can see. Then it's a path. And I don't know if I've gotten into blend shapes yet. Let me think. I'm not quite sure. And I always try to throw extra things in this. If I take a circle and I take another circle, and you can see that now they have both the same number of points. I'm going to color one yellow. Whoops. I need to take the fill on this top one, and I need to make it like a different color, like yellow. And if I click on the bottom one, let's click that one and make it red, just so you can see the difference. That one has to have both fills. Now, how do you do a blend shape? Let's get close on this. A blend shape is nothing but, so let me just say it, a larger shape with no stroke on underneath a smaller shape. Both shapes have to have the same number of points on them. Look at how this one has 4, that one has 4. So it's important that if you draw these independently, you better put the same number of points on there. You shift click them, you go to the blend tool, which is right next to the eyedropper. You always go to specified steps between 8 and about 20. I'll choose about 12 this time. And then I'll touch one point of one shape and find the sister point of the other shape. And then you can see how you now have a blend. And that's how I did that shape right there. It's just a white with a bat colored circle. So there's the same color as the bat and then a white. Now the neat part about this is you can move one away from the other and you can see how a blend shape actually works. But it's not about this. Let's just take this away. Now let's go down here to the bat. Let's click on the circle for the whole bat art layer, okay, including that invisible box that I had before, okay. Now let's take it, go up to Object, Graph, Design. Let's call it a new design. So let's take this one and go New Design, rename Bat. Very original, huh? And now let's say OK, and now we have defined that as our bat shape. Now, if we go to the PDF file, we are right here where I've taken and opened up the art underscore baseball graph. I've gotten the bat art layer. I have made sure paste for members layers is on. I now have a new design that's made. Now it says use the direct selection tool, hold the option key, or switch to the group selection tool. Click twice on the small legend with the group selection tool and then apply your graph. But this time we're going to go to uniformly scaled, and I'm going to uncheck rotate legend. So let's click on the graph. Let's get it close. Bring it up to here. Let's take the A key, hold the option key, click once and twice so only the rectangles are selected. Go to Object, Graph, Column, click on Bat, and now make sure that it's not vertically scaled but uniformly scaled, and rotate legend design is off. And now you can see how I have my bats that are right there, and I have now, of course, the Tigers have a little teeny weeny bat, the Royals have almost a non-existent bat, and those damn Yankees have a big bat. So depending on how you want to play this game, you could actually click on these shapes just like this. You could take the E key if you wanted, and you could actually thin those down actually by going to a scale button up here, go to non-uniform, and go on a horizontal scale right there and say, why don't I scale that one down to 80%, and then leave this one at 100%. And now you can see how you can actually scale the bat to play with it a little bit left or a little bit right, okay? Meaning you alter the width if you so choose to keep some of your artwork. Maybe the bats as they got bigger got too wide, but that's okay. I don't care if they got too wide. It's kind of neat that they did that actually, because those Yankees can pretty much beat anyone, and this year is no exception. Now to finish the artwork, it says on number 7, let's go see, it says number 7, open the Illustrator file and get the diamond art layer. Now, I'm not going to go back to this one, and we're almost finished. So it wants me to paste it in, then position it on the artboard, and then it wants me to play with, in other words, all I really did here was make the strokes larger. So let's go back to the little item here. Let's go open the baseball graph. Let's go click on the circle for the diamond art layer and hit Command C. Let's click to the tutorial movie layer. I can already tell I'm going to need to move this down, but that's okay. And let's hit Command V, and now that diamond art layer needs to go all the way into the baseball graph layer, but all the way to the bottom of the baseball graph layer. Now I'm going to lock up the bat for now, lock up the graph, and click on the circle only for the diamond. Let's hit the V key or the E key, and let's put this diamond in the middle of the page, just so it looks good. Okay, now I'll even turn that into outer, just wireframe for now, so I can click, which is a command click on the eyeball. A command click on the eyeball turns it into a wireframe. You should remember that. Unlock the graph, click on the entire graph, hit the V key, and let's position the graph so that you can still see most of the area right here, a little bit right there. And this is the time when you actually might want to, let's unwireframe this. This is the time that you really might want to play with position. You might want to play with the thickness of the bats. That's fine with me. As a matter of fact, let me move this back over between the diamonds and get them a little bit better situated between the first and third base. That looks pretty good. So I'm good with that. That looks fine, but I don't want the bat to be where it is right there. And now let's position this. Let's hit the A key. Let's marquee all of this click, make sure you got it all, and put it down where you want to. Now we're pretty good. I think that's fine. I don't like that tangent that's formed on the top here. The whole thing should move down a little bit. So let's click on the bat, hit the V key, hold the Shift key, and just shift it down a little bit. That looks better, a little teeny weeny bit up. Okay, now actually I liked where it was. And then take the A key again, marquee this, and just shift this back up to where it was. Now, lock up the diamond layer, because I wanted the diamond to stay where it is. I want the bat on top not to move. I only want now to touch all of the black strokes. So I'm going to marquee a teensy box with the direct selection tool, and I'm only going to touch all of the strokes, except I didn't get the bottom one. No, I did not. Let me go back like this and do it again and go a little bit farther down and over. And I think I got everything, but I actually got one of the letters. So I'm going to hold the Shift key and marquee a box around the words to unshift click them. Then I'm going to marquee around this word Royals to unselect it. Then I'm actually want to go up here and click this one. Actually I don't want those selected for now. And let's go take the stroke to red. Bring the stroke in front, make the stroke red. That looks good. I'll change that in a second and make them kind of thick. Okay, that's too thick. Down a little bit. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about this, I wanted those one. I wanted this one and then this one. I wanted those thicker. That's what I wanted. So let's go to 4 here and go a little bit bigger. Maybe go to 6 on those. And that looks better. And then I could alter these. I can take that single one right there, shift it down just a little bit by making sure I select both points, and then go in, and if I wanted to get close to this, I'm almost done. Let's go select this one. See how I don't like that one right there? Let's take this one, click that point. Let's hit the cursor key to move that one over and line it up a little bit better. Let's go over here and see what that side is like. Let's just see this one a little bit more, so I'll move that one out a little bit more. Let's grab that tick mark. Actually, now I can't touch those tick marks. How we would do this is we would select this item right there. In fact, we would grab all of these little bats like this. Watch how I grab the tick marks. I'm going to go up to Object and lock those temporarily. So I'm going to lock that selection, which is Command 2. Now, what I should be able to do is to marquee a box just to touch the top of those tick marks. Whoops, I didn't get the whole bats. Let's marquee a box around this stuff and hit Command 2. Let's go like this and marquee that, Command 2, marquee this, Command 2, marquee this, Command 2, marquee that, Command 2. Now, one more time, marquee a box for all the tick marks. Make sure those are the only things selected. That is very cool. Let's go. I have to blow my nose in a second because my cats are in here and they are making my nose itch. There we go. That's a little bit better. There's your finished graph. And again, alter it as you wish. You can grab all of these if you want to and just shift them out a little bit to the left. Just move them out a little bit, change the typeface, change the color, anything you want to do. But there is your graph. Let's get it on screen a little bit better, sorry. And I hope you've enjoyed these 4 movies. Any mistakes, again, I don't care if I make them. That's part of the flavor of these tutorials where you see how I fix mistakes. Hope you enjoyed it. Email me if you have any questions. Can't really think of anything else I want to say, so take care. And I'll see you on the next guide, guide number 7.